Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the CYPTV. You know the drill. Share, like, leave a comment. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I drop videos every day. I'm working hard on these YouTube streets. You already know. Let's jump right into the video.
Freemasons use this symbol. The G is not what you think. A compass creates circles. A square creates squares. Circles have no beginning, no end, eternal. Squares have a beginning and an end, mortal. You are an individual. You have a dual nature, material and spiritual. External physical body. Close your eyes, you have an internal world of consciousness, thoughts and emotions. Your compass needs to be on top of the square. The internal needs to create the external. Most people live in their external world manipulating their thoughts and emotions, which means they are reactions. This just creates a constant cycle of negative manifestation. Your thoughts and emotions, your circle, needs to be commands and not reactions, because this is the whole point of life. You are a creator. You've turned thoughts into physical reality. The G represents gnosis. Gnosis does not mean information or knowledge. Gnosis is direct experience with the divine, with the metaphysical. You do this by putting yourself in a hypnotic trance or deep meditation. Through putting yourself in a trance or meditation, you can escape the human identity and escape the thinking mind and access the divine planes of consciousness and have direct experience with the divine. That is what gnosis is. It cannot be explained. It's like explaining a color. You can't. You simply have to experience it for yourself. And that is the secret they don't want you to know.
This that we talking about, y'all. Y'all see this? They built a robot the size of a grain of salt. And I'm not even exaggerating. Look at this, y'all. That's the US penny. And that's the robot, y'all. Do you see how tiny that is? Look like a egg. It's the world's smallest remote control robot at 0.02 inches, y'all. And the crazy part is, it don't use batteries to move. They move the junk with a laser, y'all. Imagine something this small being a robot that don't need batteries and it can move it with a laser. Now they say they're using this for medicine. They're using it in the hospital, in the medical field. Now the question is, do you really think they only use this for medicine, for the hospital? They can make this joint walk, crawl, go flat. Like, come on now. If it can do all the movements, what else can it do? What, spy on you, track you, inject you? I'm just saying. I thought this was only on movies. But now we're seeing it. It's in real life. So you got to start thinking. Things that we see on movies, a lot of the times, it's either here or it's real. And they just don't show us until they want us to know. So they say this been around since 2022. But we're just hearing about it in 2025. So over the course of them 3 years, what were they using this for? Drop a, they already watching us in the comments if you feel what I'm saying. Because if these things been around, they probably been on us, in our house, in our clothes, in your ear, in your body. You never know.
He is correct. Those things probably been spying on us, been doing everything he said. They probably been in use since before 2022. You can't trust the government. So I'm pretty sure they probably had that before that time. And the possibilities are endless of what they probably were doing with that till this day, right? If you enjoy content like this, I put out several videos a week. It'll be amazing if you hit the subscribe button and join me in the next video.
So RFK Jr. has just confirmed everything that we've been saying for years. That's right. All those conspiracy theorists, i.e. you and me, we were all right all along. Watch this.
My name is Emily, and my biggest concern is the stratospheric aerosol injections that are continuously peppered on us every day. Bromium, aluminum, strontium, it's sprayed in our skies all day long. And I know you've talked to Dane Wigington about this. He seems to be one of the experts in the field. But I just, yes, how do we stop it?
That is, it's not happening in my agency. You know, we don't do that. It's done, we think, by DARPA. And a lot of it now is coming out of the jet fuel. Just, you know, those materials are put in jet fuel. I'm going to do everything in my power to stop it. We're bringing on somebody who's going to think only about that, find out who's doing it, and holding them accountable. Yes, sir.
NASA has just confirmed that China's Three Gorges Dam is so massive that it is slowing the Earth's rotation. Located in the Hubei province, it's the world's largest hydroelectric power station, and it holds a staggering 10 billion cubic meters of water. That's about 10 trillion gallons. But now, according to NASA scientists, it has redistributed Earth's mass enough to the point where it is slowing the Earth's rotation by 0.06 microseconds per day. And we can't have plastic straws. Think of it like when you're spinning on your chair and you put your legs out. You slow down because your mass is moved away from the center. And that is what China's Three Gorges Dam is doing to the Earth. So what's the tariff for slowing Earth's rotation?
They say it's about memory, but memory doesn't weigh this much. Doesn't cling to stone, doesn't echo in rows. Why the walls? Why the pillars? Why does it always face the same way? Why does it hum when no one's there? Some say it's sacred, but not all sacred things are safe. Stone holds, wood seals, names etched in lines, not to honour, but to anchor. And those who build near it, they're not afraid. They're using it, drawing from it, hiding behind it. Because when energy has nowhere to go, it stays, it stacks, it thickens. And that silence you feel, it's not peace, it's pressure. Full decode's already up on YouTube. If you're ready to see what they're really built for.
Well, good morning, America. There's glass in our bread. You heard it. Glass fragments are in the bread. And now we have a nationwide recall. So the FDA issued an urgent alert for certain breads that are part of Upper Crust Bakery LP that were found to have glass fragments on top of the bread. Specifically different kinds of rolls that are sold at Giant Eagles. The rolls were sold at retail level in Pennsylvania, California, Connecticut, Maryland, Delaware, and Ohio. The bread types include Ancient Grains hoagie roll in 4-ounce containers, multi-grain sourdough rolls in 18-ounce containers, and whole grain multi-grain rolls in 20-ounce containers. These are all rolls that you will find at your local bakery at Giant Eagle. Now, in total, the FDA said 818 cases of upper crust bakery bread are suspected of containing glass pieces, including 699 cases of the company's 18-ounce multi-grain sourdough packages, which is the largest portion of the recall. Now, the agency said that 89 cases of 4-ounce Ancient Grains hoagie rolls and 30 cases of 20-ounce whole grain multi-grain bread were also included in the recall. And now the FDA has elevated it to a level 2 risk, which means it can harm you. Now, Giant Eagle has removed the product from store shelves as soon as they were made aware of the recall and contacted customers who purchased the potentially impacted product directly. So far, there have been no reports of injuries, but glass fragments and rolls, the recalls just seem to never end.
Yeah, isn't it crazy how many food recalls we had in the last couple years? What you think is going on with the food industry? Have they slowed down like inspecting or fired so many people that they can't catch up to it? But isn't that weird that we getting so many food recalls now?
Right, guys, so a Russian satellite, a secret Russian military satellite that's on a much higher orbit, basically, than most other satellites, which apparently has been, it's apparently tumbling out of control, and has been tumbling out, they've been keeping an eye on this over the last week, really. It's currently tumbling out of control. What's weird about this is they think it might have a dummy warhead on it. Now, apparently they were potentially testing new equipment, Russia, on this satellite, all sorts of new equipment that can withstand radiation at higher orbits and all sorts of stuff. Now, currently, it's apparently out of control. It's the Cosmos 2553 secret Russian satellite that was actually launched in 2022, just before the Ukraine invasion, which is why a lot of military sources think this could be some sort of potential military or test military satellite, even potentially with a nuclear war on it, a nuclear warhead. Oh my god.
Why would the Russians put a nuclear warhead on a satellite in 2022.
We know the truth now here. Yes, evidence suggests that some Ohio mounds and earthwork, particularly those of the Hopewell and Adena culture, may have been intentionally aligned with the Milky Way. Let's keep going. Now, look at the map. Sugarloaf Mountain is a representation of Axis Mundi. Let's keep going. Axis Mundi is a symbolic center point of connecting heaven and earth, often depicted as a vertical structure like a mountain, tree, pillar, or even a temple. Let's keep going. Now, Sugarloaf Mountain in Ohio is the center of the 4 points: Marietta, Portsmouth, Fort Ancient, and Circleville, Ohio. Let's keep going.
Now, as you can see, there was some type of ancient civilized culture at Sugarloaf Mountain. And when you connect all of these mound sites in Ohio to Sugarloaf Mountain, it is a representation of the Milky Way, a representation of the path of souls. We know the truth.
Plastic and babies, bad combination. We need hormones, neurotransmitters, everything that makes a baby healthy and grows. Here's the problem, all plastic. Don't be fooled by the BPA free. That is just good marketing. You know so many people with babies. You can get glass. Come on, there's so many alternatives, even ceramic today. Stop the madness.
Ain't no universe. Ain't no universe. No, I'm gonna tell you how I know, right? Because they told you the universe, and they told you that they figured it out with numbers, right? That's what they told you. They said they figured out the universe using numbers. But how? How can you figure out a creation with a creation from a creation? It don't make sense. They can stop now. So everybody trying to figure out the universe with numbers, they might as well stop. Because you can't figure it out with numbers. There's a lot of people don't know.
Bro, all I'm saying is that they've been building, like, this is new construction, right? They've been building this for like 6 months. And it's literally a Lincoln log set. It's just, they put an I-beam up, and they put a concrete slab down, and then they put the next I-beams up, and the new concrete slab. And they do this forever, and it literally never ends. And it's just, and then look, it'll look just like that. A shapeless, I mean, it's not shapeless, it's just a square, colorless, artless box, right? And they want to tell us that they built shit like the Empire State Building in 1 year and 40 days. Like, dude, this building is going to take another 3 months for them to finish it, okay? And they're saying, like, dude, it's been 6 months. It's going to take almost a year for them to finish that piece of crap 4-story apartment complex. And they said they built a 110-story building in a year and 40 days. Come on! But don't worry, guys, we can't build as fast as they built the Empire State Building just because we don't have the vision and we build more sustainably now. Look, see, and we know that they built it because we have scaffolding pictures, right? See, this is totally not a miniature. And look, there's pictures. It's also definitely not a magic trick. It's not a camera trick. Not kidding. It's a 102-story building built from 1930 to 1931. A year and 40 days. Scaffolding. This is why they could build the Empire State Building in 1 year. Construction works began before the design was completed. Foundations were excavated while demolition of the existing building was still ongoing. What do you mean? You were excavating underneath the building that was still there while it was there? The steel frame was erected in a highly choreographed work sequence that minimized even a moment's downtime, and railway tracks were used to move materials. Storage was optimized, deliveries were made just in time. At one point, contractors added 14 stories to the superstructure in just 10 days. They sure did. And of course, everything has much improved since the 30s, guys. 14 people lost their lives making the Empire State Building. Yeah, probably because they were telling everyone, we didn't make this, we didn't make this. Safety today has been transformed, and we now build more sustainably, and our labor practices are definitely better. Does this chintzy-ass connector set look more sustainable than, say, literally any Capitol building, any church? These churches have lived or survived for hundreds of years, okay? This apartment will fall down in 40 years. Seriously, they're built like crap. They're all chintzy. They've got freaking 2-inch walls. Like, build with granite and brick. That is sustainable. Those buildings don't move. Yeah, guys, look how unsustainable this building is. look. And they want to say that the reason that they can't build as fast as they used to is because of increased complexity of buildings that they make now. I'm sorry, what? Show me one building that's ever been built in the last 100 years that looks anything like this. This I would call complex. They can't build as fast because they're supported by international supply chains that are often at the mercy of a deeply interconnected, globalized economy. The problems all stem from a lack of detailed visibility on our projects. They can't plan? Why? If only we could just plan a little better, guys. Anyway, this is all entertainment purposes. I just have a funny little fan fiction story that I'm writing where all of the history of the world that we've been told is phooey, you know? It's bull honky. It's BS. It's doo-doo caca. It's not real, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm not a journalist, and I'm not a historian or anything. I'm just a goofy guy, okay? Don't listen to me. Love you. Bye. Entertainment purposes! Entertainment porpoises!
I am giving up the future that I made for myself. The stakes are life imprisonment and the possibility of execution. Matthew Brown, a former Pentagon intelligence analyst, has identified himself as the author of the Immaculate Constellation Report submitted to Congress. After years working under top-secret clearances, Brown went public with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, revealing what he discovered about a classified UAP program. He describes uncovering documents showing a massive black triangle hovering over Russian naval ships in the Pacific, with signs the Russians were expecting it. Brown says the US runs a global network tracking unidentified aerial objects, while foreign powers appear to have their own UAP intelligence. His claims match those of other whistleblowers who say information about non-human craft has been kept from Congress for decades. This goes beyond technology, Brown said. This is about answering the biggest question of all, and the answer is no, humanity is not alone. He believes the public has a right to know, warning that we've built a prison around ourselves, one that's invisible but not complete. Watch the full interview on the Weaponized podcast. Read our full breakdown at AboveTheNormNews.com.
They were saying we were running out of water in 2020 because it was really warm outside. And the book, The New Water for a Thirsty World, is a great one to debunk the whole water, running out situation. And then also the PrimaryWaterInstitute.org with the unlimited primary water that's underneath our feet. It's interesting because there's a lot of people making videos now showing water coming out of trees and out of the earth in all different places. And people are realizing we're never running out of water. Now the World Economic Forum has to pivot towards the sun is dangerous because people realize that the water's never running out. So they have to change the narrative. And then they'll come back with that one maybe in like 2 years. There's also something going on in Mexico with some like parasitic beef or something. And that's so funny because everything's parasites now, trending parasites. So now all of a sudden animals have the parasitic disease, heavy metal overload. That's all it is. It's the same playbook on repeat. And every year or every 6 months, whatever it is, every 7 months, they just do the same thing, and if people aren't aware, then they get taken advantage of and they believe it. And they're like, oh, I gotta sell my property with water because we're running out of water.
Start recording. Oh my God.
From the Window World Traffic Center, quality windows, happy customers.
Congestion is now. That's what westbound due to an accident in the right lane at Reed Boulevard.
Was that one of those cheap buildings that they built that the guy was talking about earlier, that it lasts 40 years and then it will collapse? Was that one of them?
Transformer just blew. No, I was down there. Them people they was out. They was out. The car.
Begin tonight with these deadly storms sweeping east from Texas to Pennsylvania to New York at this hour. More than 50 million Americans on alert right now. A home set on fire by lightning. Drivers trapped under down lines. In North Texas, dark clouds from a tornadic supercell and hail the size of baseballs. The straight line winds have been ferocious with this, upwards of 100 miles an hour. tossing structures and causing accidents. In Oklahoma City, lightning sparking a fire, destroying this home, a mother and her 2 children inside. They did get out. They're okay tonight. And in Pennsylvania, state of emergency near Pittsburgh. Severe storms moving through, trees crashing down on power lines, 1 person killed by a tree coming down, 2 more electrocuted by down lines. Video tonight from AccuWeather showing a driver trapped under lines that had come down right there. And tonight, a new line of storms, again, stretching from Texas right to upstate New York. Lee Goldberg times this out. And ABC's Maria Villarreal leading us off here with the images already coming in.
Tonight, powerful storms pummeling the plains for a 3rd night in a row. Record rain inundating drivers navigating rivers during their morning commute in Norman, Oklahoma. Lightning sending this home up in flames in Oklahoma City. A mother and 2 children inside at the time, escaping with minor injuries. South of their families urged to evacuate from flooded neighborhoods in Lexington. Overnight, 100-mile-an-hour straight-line winds and baseball-sized hail slamming communities southwest of Wichita Falls, Texas. Part of the same system striking Pennsylvania, knocking out power to hundreds of thousands. The Pittsburgh area hit hard, authorities in at least 1 borough declaring a state of emergency. AccuWeather's Monica Danielle in State College with a driver trapped under power lines.
It told me it's going to be a line. He said, like, you're safe in there, stay in the car.
That driver is okay, but at least 4 are dead in Pennsylvania, including at least 2 people who were electrocuted.
David, back here in Texas, travelers are scrambling with more than 850 flights canceled so far nationwide. A majority of those cancellations happening right here at Dallas area airports. David?
And I know you still have watches in effect primarily east of Dallas there tonight. Maria, thank you for leading us off. Let's get right.
The weather has been getting more extreme the last couple years. Now, is this due to climate change, or does this have other factors that play into it? Maybe signs of the end of time?
Alright. Hit me out, TikTok. Am I going crazy? So, I have an outdoor cat and I bought him a can of Fancy Feast. Fancy Feast Turkey and Giblets Feast. There's all the information. This is what I found today. This hair is growing out of the food that wasn't ate. And it's coarse hair. It's the same color as my cat, but my cat is a short hair cat. What's happening here? Am I oblivious to this, or is this normal? Help me out.
You ever just like out to dinner and like you just decide to go on a dinner date with your horse? No, it's real, it's alive. Yep. Just casual.
A ghost pulled my hair at work tonight and we actually caught it on camera. Before the ghost pulled my hair, I was standing up against the game machine and I felt something touching the back of my head. And I'm a spiritual person, and if you've seen any of my other videos recently, some weird stuff has been happening to me and I've been trying to piece it all together. So I turned around and I said, please stop touching my hair. And then I turned back around and I'm looking at my phone, and about 5 minutes later, my hair gets moved. I'm looking down, my hair gets moved out of my face and over my shoulder. It scared me. I jumped and looked and I shouted, what the fuck? And like the girls coming out of the office, I'm pretty sure I scared them a little bit because it was happening at the exact same time. And no, they were not opening the door. There was no draft. And we did test that theory later to see if that door got open as hard as it could, as soft as it could, if it would move my hair in that position. It did not. I'm actually going to clip, after this, I'm going to clip the little video. We went in and watched it. I'm going to play it probably once or twice because I want you to see. If you look at my left shoulder, my back's going to be facing you. Look at my left shoulder and it goes over.
Saw that, right?
The strangest thing that ever happened to me in my life, and that sort of thing, I landed at Orange County Airport, and I had a business there of land development, but I wanted to see somebody at the airport arena. It's a 5-star hotel across the street from the airport. And I walked across. It was a rather cold Wednesday morning, let's say. And I went up to the desk, and there was a nice-looking woman, about 30 years old, blonde hair and page boy cut, and she had kind of powdery skin. And I think that book was out, Women Are From Venus and Men Are From Mars. And I thought, boy, she looked like she's from Venus. And I went on and spoke to the lady behind the desk, and there was a cut glass bowl of apples, and I wanted one, but I wasn't a guest, and I was ashamed to get one. But when I turned around, I spoke to the pretty lady, and I said hello, and she said, hello, excuse me, sir. And I stopped. She said, I know you. And I laughed like I do, and I said, I don't believe I've ever met you. Do I know I'd remember? And so she said, no, and tears come out of her eyes. She said, no, I know you. And I said, perhaps if so, I've forgotten. I'm sorry, but my name is Roger Reeves. And we shook hands. So she's flesh and blood. And she said, will you come across the lobby here with me? And I thought, this is strange. And we walked across together, and there was a large lobby, nobody there, and there was a little ensemble with leather sofas and a green hood and a little fire. And she sat down, and she says, just sit on the little thing, and she said, will you take both my hands and close your eyes and tell me what you see? Ooh, I get cold chills all over me when I tell this story. Wham! I'm in war. I'm in another dimension. I'm an officer, and I'm in a cage as big as this room, and it's all been from mining. It's a cave with rocks, and there's rough tables, there's lanterns. So it was maybe World War I. I don't know, World War II. And there I am with a hat on, like the cap, and I can't see my eyes, but I have a grease coat on, and I can see where the epaulets were. Any insignia I had, I was certainly an officer, had been taken off because those were snipers' targets. And I remember I had boots, and the thing came down, and yeah, I had a good look at it, and there was sandbags out in front of it, and there was a long row of them and some kind of metal across the top, and it was like 8 feet tall. And just outside the door of it there, a shell hit, and it was hit so hard to the sand almost looked like got in my eyes, and the cordite flew. I could smell it. It's all in my nose. And I walk there as it clears up, and there's a young soldier in that rubble, and I pick him up, and I'm walking on air, and I'm just taking one step at a time, and I'm saying, medic, medic, medic. And I look at the young soldier's face. He's dead. And it's the face of the woman that I'm holding hands with. And I have no memory of that day. From that, it was erased. Otherwise, I'd ask her, what is your name? Who are you?
Wow.
How did that happen? I'm 80 years old, and never before or after anything so unbelievable happened to me.
That's incredible.
According to Sarah Winnemucca, the red-headed cannibal giants made their last stand inside this cave after a 3-year war with the Paiute Indians. The Indians threw brush and sticks down into the cave and lit a great fire. Evidence of the fire is all over the ceiling. It's black with soot from flames. The last of the red-headed cannibal giants went down to this location, the very base of the cave, where there was some oxygen remaining. Some tried to escape up this crevasse, but the Indians shot them with bows and arrows and hit them with clubs as they exited. None of them survived, according to Sarah Winnemucca. Some of the last women and children huddled down here under this ledge where there was some oxygen.
Hot dogs, an American classic, made from the scraps nobody wanted. It starts with pork, beef, and chicken trimmings, leftovers from steaks and chops, ground into a paste. Then comes the starch, salt, artificial flavorings, and corn syrup. Yes, sugar, to make the meat slurry sweeter. They drench it in water, puree it into a fine emulsion, and vacuum out the air, not the toxins. This goop is pumped into synthetic cellulose casings, twisted into links in seconds, and then smoked and cooked in industrial ovens. Next, a cold saltwater bath. Because why not throw sodium on top of sodium? A machine then peels off the casing, 700 hot dogs a minute, and sends them to packaging as if they were never wrapped in synthetic skin to begin with. This factory, it produces 2.5 million hot dogs per shift, cheap, fast, and profitable. And your gut, it doesn't stand a chance. Think before you bite.
Now, hot dogs are good, but they're not good for you. But they do taste good though, right? But I would probably eat them like once or twice a year.
What is this kind of temple doing under some guy's farmland?
I've found so many subterranean worlds, temples, caves that are absolutely beyond explanation. This is just a farmer, right? 20 feet up. He's just plowing the fields. Look what lies beneath his farm. This is an article found in a Pennsylvania newspaper describing a temple found in Missouri. We found ourselves in a room hewn out of solid limestone, 35 feet wide, 50 feet long, and 30 feet high. There are 12 columns in the temple. Between the columns on each side of the temple and on each side of the arch are set in the wall blocks of polished gray and black granite. It is undoubtedly one of the greatest curiosities of the age, and is attracting the attention of archaeologists. You never hear anything else. The articles go blank.
This person thinks that this is going to go down as one of the greatest finds in history, and then of course it disappears. How did they mysteriously die 2 years later, perhaps?
The deeper you go, the crazier the things they find.
There's a whole world right beneath our feet. Believe that.
There's one island that has like this crazy hole in the ground that was made by pirates.
It's up in Canada, right? Oak
Yes.
Island's in Canada.
Yes. And they have some crazy hole in the ground that they're trying to figure out how to get into, but there's all these weird little traps and...
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah. What do they think's in there?
Some astronomically valuable treasure, right? And I believe the island's changed hands like 7 or 8 times because people trying to find it have gone broke, digging it up, excavating it, exploring it, and there's booby traps and like all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's some sort of a method that they've devised where if you go deep enough, it just fills up with water, so you can never get to the actual treasure itself.
Right.
So the people who put the treasure there might have themselves. Like,
totally.
We're assuming they're so smart that they buried the treasure in a way that nobody could ever get it out, but they might have just buried it in a way that they couldn't even get it out.
I think that's the case. I think it's one of those like, oh, we're going to keep it here, and then they couldn't get it. I mean, who knows? But yeah, what a crazy story.
Yeah.
Writing is a rite, which is a ritual, because writing words conditions your subconscious mind. Your signature is sign your nature. Your signature is your sigil. Think of me, revival of wisdom. You have an idea in your mind. That idea is an energy, a thought form, and this signature represents that thought form energy. In magic, you use symbols to impress your subconscious mind with different thought forms to create that reality. Breath has eth, which is ether. Don't just breathe air, you breathe in ether, which is life force, consciousness. Yahweh is the inhale then exhale of breath. Just listen closely to your breath, you'll hear it.
Eth has the word ether in it, because all energy, all life comes out of the ether and returns back to it. Life is an infinite cycle of energy.
Life rearranged is fire,
being recorded by the eyes and stored within the subconscious mind. Sacred rearranged is scared, because they made you scared of all the sacred symbols, so that you don't do your research. Words hold secret esoteric meanings. You'll never understand what I'm saying unless you study them.
I'm over here, it's time for a break. Yeah, let's play a game. Rock, paper, scissors.
Alright, explain me the rules.
Explain you the rules? What do you mean? I'm pretty sure I saw you playing this with Kim K.
No, it was probably my cousin or something.
Was your cousins? Alright, anyway. So you have rocks, beat scissors, then scissors beats papers, and papers beat rocks. Alright, you got it?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright, 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, man, I thought you didn't know how to play. 1, 2, 3. Come on, man. Like, I thought you didn't know how to play this game. Like, explain me, how can you win every time?
I can explain why I win every time.
Yeah.
I lied.
You lied to me?
Yeah, but it's not a big deal. I pretended not to know the rules so that while you were explaining them, I was actually scanning your facial expressions and hand movements. This allowed me to predict your next move with only a 10% margin of error.
We have been to wear sunglasses. Oh, it's bad for your eyes. You're going to get cataracts and all of that. It's not true. Your eyes were designed to absorb photons because the sunlight is the only perfect full spectrum light there is. Nothing else. Everything else is artificial. Sunlight is the only pure full spectrum natural light. Your eyes need that. It needs to get into your eyes. So what do? They make us buy, some people spend expensive, some of the sunglasses, I guess Ray-Bans or some of them. I've always avoided sunglasses all my life. That's why we have sun gazers. You start out with a few seconds a day in the morning, the first hour in the morning, sunrise, last hour at night. You can look into the sun without you harming your eyes. Don't do it in the middle or in the mid-afternoon in the summer. It's too strong. I got up a few years back sun gazing to 25 or 26 minutes.
These videos are for entertainment and education. Real or fake, fact or fiction. Let me know what you think about these videos down in the comment section. I'd like to thank you for watching. Until next time, this is CYPTV and I'm out.